What an exciting time. I mean, the Olympics in London, you know, I've been a part of several of them since 1988. And it's probably my favorite one, just from the standpoint of how well it was ran, the excitement around the village, the excitement around the events. They packed every event and every sport. They just really came out, you know, and the people of London, you know, that's what makes the Olympics great, is the people of the city, you know, and these people went out of their way to make sure that all the athletes, coaches, and the visiting people just had a good time. It was a wonderful, wonderful city and a wonderful event. So, and then of course bringing home a medal and being a part of that with Coleman, that makes it even, you know, even better. So, anyway, great experience. We were over there a lot. We were over there for about 20 days between there and Belarus, and you know, it was just a great experience for everybody involved.
Questions? You guys have a chance to relax yet? It seems like you've been going ever since the opening ceremonies.
A little bit. Still trying to get caught up on sleep and get back on the right sleep pattern. You know, being over there for 20 days, it gets you. You know, we were on that time change for a while, so. Still waking up real early, you know, so just trying to get back onto that, and that's about it. Just sort of, I'm relaxing. I don't know if he has, you know, he had to get back and get to work. So.
Has anyone tried to explain to you how, I guess, dialed in everyone was watching the matches, and just though, I mean, the sport was crazy around here.
Yeah, that's what they said. I've heard everybody tell me that they, you know, that it was really, everybody was focusing on it and everything, and that's awesome to know. And you know, and that's part of the reason, you know, it makes it so easy to go out there and compete, is because people and fans like this around here and all around the country, you know, and that's what I was doing it for, is, you know, is for that.
We had a lot of people from Stillwater there, you know, but really the time we're there, we really don't know. We're not watching anything. There's not much to watch because we're in two different areas between the village and where the United States coaches stayed. You know, you're seeing Great Britain's telecast, and they're showing what they're doing well in, and that was a lot of cycling. I will tell you that. I think 1/3 of their medals came from that sport, and you know, so they're not showing a lot of what we were doing well in. We were, you know, for us, we were watching the medal count, you know, and it was something that keeps us motivated. And when we win a medal, they post it up immediately, and we know who won or what medal they won, and chasing China there at the beginning, and then catching them and you know, putting the foot down at the end. That was exciting for everybody involved over there. You know, it's a little bit of a statement. We're not ready to give that medal count up, and it was good to see, and we took part in that. Wrestling took part of it, and freestyle, we won 3 medals to add to the total count.
How do you all prepare? There's so many challenges and things. Even when you score, you don't, and they go challenge. Did it? Maybe he scored, maybe you did. I mean, that's something on the international level you just get used to.
Yeah, but you know, I think the rules are about as good as they've ever been. There's a lot of action. I mean, it's probably one of the best tournaments I saw in freestyle. Of course, that's all I had a chance to see. You couldn't get into anything else. You know, there was no tickets available. It was exciting, you know, because we watch folk style wrestling in the United States. It gets a little bit complicated if you're watching and you're not used to it. But being around it, it was exciting, you know, from the standpoint of, you know, throughout Coleman's matches, I thought, you know, maybe one call we could have got. It was a questionable call, and it could have went either way, and it was at the end of the first period against the Azerbaijan wrestler. But other than that, I thought most of the calls were good, and the wrestling was fantastic. Wrestling's getting tougher in the world. It's getting better, you know, since the Soviet Union broke up into 14 republics. They're all, you know, it's their top sport in those countries, and for a lot of them, it's the only medals that they're winning. So from here on out, you know, we need to take these 2 gold medals. The first time we've won 2 gold medals in freestyle wrestling since 1996. and Kendall Cross was one of those in '96. First time we've won 3 medals since 2004. So got a little momentum going for ourselves in the sport of wrestling, and bringing home the medals and these guys putting that effort out is a big plus for us.
Can you talk about the fact that you, like your coach talking about, going against the best in the world, bringing that bronze medal back to the Stillwater with that team?
It is definitely, you know, every tournament you go into, you have the mindset of winning. You know, I came up a little bit short there in the semifinals, and I was sort of hard on myself right after. I felt like I left some out on the mat, you know, and I know Coach kept preaching, don't make sure that doesn't happen, you know. So I was sort of upset with myself there for a while, but after I thought about it, you know, I guess coming back with a medal is a lot better than 5th, you know, and you know, I just had to, that's the mindset I went with it. I wasn't going to be denied, and I was definitely going to save face and come back and bring something back with me. It definitely wasn't the color I wanted or the outcome, but you know, it's something to build on. It was my first world team I've made, and you know, I didn't. A lot of people didn't think they thought I'd do all right. Didn't think I was going to medal, and I wasn't the top 7, 8 in the world, and you know, I thought I was, and I knew I was, and I just had to prove it to them. And you know, I think it is room to build on me. I'm still very motivated right now. You know, sort of chomping at the bit to. I want another shot at that kid, wrestle him again this year. You know, hopefully, if he stays down at 60. So, you know, that's the plan, and you know, I'm just going to move forward from here and keep building on this, and for the next 3-4 years, and you know, make another run at this thing.
So your plan is to go to Rio?
Yes.
So throughout the whole process, there were a bunch of pictures, a bunch of things that came up, but 2 of them that really stuck out to everyone was one in New York when you're jumping. The celebration right after, and then the second one was right as you won the bronze medal, and both of them, he's right there next to Matt, or in the first one, running out at you. I mean, what's it like to have your college coach there, and not only your coach that you know so well, but someone with so much experience at the Olympics?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, you know, he's done it before. He's won two Olympic titles and 4 world titles. So, you know, I rewatched that bronze medal match, and I read his lips there. Right, they showed him right before, or right when I was getting up, and I was down by a point with 25 seconds left, and he was just saying, "You got to shoot 2, 3, 4 times." He said, "Shoot, you know, multiple times." He said it about 3 times in a row there, and then, you know, of course, I came out and I shot multiple times and scored the takedown and won the match. You know, that trust factor and that just belief that you have, and comfortability of me just saying, "All right, he says it, I'm going to go do it," and it works every time. You know, that's the great part about having him there, you know, and just I don't have to do any thinking. I just listen, you know, and I think that's what helped me a lot this year. Just listening and saying they know what they're doing. They've won it already. I'm just going to listen to them, and that's what I've done, and it's taken a lot of stress off me, and you know, I haven't worried about anything. I walk into practice. I mean, even leading up weeks before the Olympics, people will be asking, "What are you going to do today?" I walk up to Coach right when we were getting ready to warm up. "What do we have today?" Wouldn't have a clue, you know, and that's the way I liked it, you know, just to go in there and, you know, I just listened to them, whatever they said.
We talked about all the followers that went over to England and whatnot with you. What was it like getting to share that special moment with all those people who've been following your career so long?
It was awesome. You know, they have been following my career for 20 years, 21 years. And, of course, that tournament, like Coach said, I watched it the 2 days that I wasn't wrestling, and it was probably the best tournament I've ever been able to watch. It was great wrestling. And, you know, I think that day, you know, that I had some exciting matches, and I think that was just a little bit I could give back to them for all the years of them following me everywhere else around the country and around the world. And, you know, I think everybody enjoyed it, you know, and saw the success that we had as a country. And they were excited, you know. It's when you get over there and you get in that feel, and you know, we saw that we were putting our foot on the gas against China in the medal count, and I think everybody was getting pumped up, and you know, that's what we wanted to do, sort of show our dominance, that we were the best in the world. And you know, I think wrestling as an individual sport is on its way to that, to showing them that we are. You know, we were close the last couple of years of being the best team in the world, I think within the next 2 or 3 years we will be.
Go back to the end of the bronze medal match and just, obviously it was so crazy there at the end, just your emotions and just kind of what was going through your head when all of that happened.
You know, that sort of the same exact. It was almost identical to the same match that I wrestled with that kid at the World Cup. Lost the first period, won the second, and then was losing the third with short time left. It was almost identical. I think I took him down with 10 seconds left at World Cup, and it was about the same here. You know, so I don't know if I wasn't nervous. I just looked over at Coach, and he just told me to shoot, and you know, it was almost like I just said to myself, all right, I'm going to go get it. I'm not going to try, I'm going to do. And, you know, I don't know why I waited so long, but, you know, I guess it all worked out in the long run.
Wish you wouldn't have.
You know, but I wasn't nervous at all. I was sort of just confident that I was going to go get it, you know, and this whole year's sort of been, if I've needed a takedown, I've gone and gotten it. And, you know, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but it's worked for me in my favor here recently. And, you know, I think that's where my confidence came from at that time.
And when you got the takedown, describe your emotions and what you remember about that?
I don't know if I remember much. You know, I just know it got real loud, you know, and I looked up and just saw all the fans in the shirts and Coach and just everybody jumping up, and I didn't realize how short the time was till I looked over and I saw there was only a couple seconds left, and sort of started celebrating a little bit, you know. But it was just a great feeling that I did, you know, come back and get that medal and not leave there in 5th place. That probably been the worst feeling ever, you know.
He was so focused at that time that not only did he get a takedown, but he also got a turn. So, you know, all he needed was the takedown, but in his mind, he just went ahead and executed out. He fell into a turn and picked up the turn. So, you know, that's what was exciting for me, not just the win, but seeing guys finish out the period, finish out the match, and that's what he did. You know, so like he said, you know, that time, it shows the difference in athletes, you know, the doers and the guys that try, you know. And there's 15 seconds left. You find a way to score, you know, and sometimes it's a skill that, you know, you've never done. You know, you find that energy and know that energy's there. And I felt confident with 15 seconds left that we were going to win, and it was because of him, the way he looked, the way he acted, and the way he executed. And there wasn't a lot of fear there. There was hey, I got to win something here. I'm taking a medal home. And the shot and the performance after the shot just showed a lot of courage, a lot of energy was in that building with him.
Coleman, was there anything you weren't prepared for or caught you off guard this whole experience?
Yeah, the one thing, it was very first match. You know, I stayed pretty calm the whole way leading up to the Olympics. Never really got too hyped up about it, and just kept telling myself, yeah, it's another tournament, you know, but I will elevate my level of wrestling and intensity of this. But, you know, it is just another tournament. And I think everything came to a head when I was walking out of the tunnel for the first match. It was just the emotion that I wasn't ready for. That place erupted. You know, I didn't expect that. Not just my fans, but there was a lot of U.S. fans there, and that place started chanting USA as soon as I walked out, and it sort of hit me right then, you know, which wasn't a very good time. You know, I think I sort of downplayed that whole thing. That's not going to happen to me, you know, and it did, you know, and I think that's why I was a little bit slow starting that first match.
Even more so than being in the national finals and all of that.
Yeah, definitely, you know, and at the Olympics, I mean, we're way in the back. You can't really hear the arena. You don't, you know, and I was sort of one of the first matches. I was the first USA guy, and you know, I guess I didn't expect it to get that loud and that many people be there, encouraging us, and it was just, it all came right there, because I didn't feel anything before that, you know, until I walked out.
That didn't happen at the opening ceremonies or anything?
Opening ceremonies it did, but I didn't have to do anything. You know, opening ceremonies, it was awesome. You know, we were walking around the infield of the track, and getting ready to walk up into the middle where we were just finishing up. And, of course, Great Britain walked in as the last country. In that place, I mean, everything started shaking. It was the stage was shaking, and you know, I got chills, and it was the loudest I've probably ever heard anything. You know, and that was probably the moment, one of the best moments I've ever had. You know, but of course I didn't have to go do anything. I just stood up there, so it didn't bother me too much.
Did you get a chance to interact with any athletes from other sports at the Village or anything like that? Any cool memories? that you can share?
Yeah, we did. You know, we stayed right next to the track and the swimmers, and you know they're actually really good guys. You know, we got stood up by the women's gymnastics team. You know, it was the first day we were there. We were walking out of the calf, and we saw them walking sort of that direction, all 5 of them. And you know, they're only 16-year-old girls, but it was our whole team. And you know, the kid that went up and asked him, Jordan Burroughs is reigning world champ, and he's sort of the face of wrestling. And he went up and said, "Hey, can we all get a picture with you?" And they sort of just said no and walked on by. Sort of embarrassing to get stood up by a 16-year-old. You know, but other than that, everybody was awesome. You know, opening ceremonies, the basketball players, I bet took thousands of pictures that night. You know, and I never once saw anybody say no. You know, I mean, they were just great guys. You know, we went into basketball practice one day, sort of snuck in there. I know it was a closed practice, but they were getting ready to start, and Kobe came over and sort of talked to me and my teammate there, and the team leader, just us 3, and he sort of just came over and started chit-chatting. You know, and I was sort of caught off guard by it, and you know, but just genuinely just good people, you know, and they are. It was very fun to be around.
Do you have any advice for Kobe in his game?
No, I don't think I can tell him anything about that. You know, but I guess it was just you know, you see all these people putting them down for doing the stuff that they do, and you know, there's so much negativity around those guys because they're in the spotlight all the time. It was just cool. I mean, he just came over, shook our hands, talked to us, and you know, I was like, holy cow, didn't have to do that. You know, it was a cool experience.
Is your medal in that bag by any chance?
I have it, and that's Coach's bag. I do have it. I do have it in my pocket. So he told me to bring it wherever I go so people could see it. So
Yeah.
sort
Have
of.
you been kind of just bringing it around?
Not as much. No, it sort of sits in my car or my house. I just sort of, you know, if I need to go somewhere, you know, like this, Coach he told me to bring it. You know, he made a good point. You know, when you know, coming here, I'm around the Olympics and Olympic champions, and him and Coach Monday, and you know, Coach Guerrero was in the Olympics, and we're around it every day. A lot of people aren't. You know, they've never seen a medal. They've never, you know, and we have, so we sort of downplay the whole thing. But, you know, so I guess it's something that everybody could, you know, see, and you know, it is pretty cool.
Do you have an idea of where you're going to display it in your house or anything yet?
Nah, I'll probably just put it in a box in the closet somewhere. You know, I don't think I'm not a big fan of displaying stuff in my house. You know, about me. You know, I'd rather have pictures of my daughter or something up. You know, so.
Have you been to your hometown since this?
I have not. You know, I haven't been anywhere. We came to Stillwater Monday and been here just sort of.
There's a party right there.
I'm sure, you know, they usually like to throw pretty big parties back there.
John, how about the fact that all the medals came from Big 12 guys? It felt pretty good.
Yeah, it's changed a lot since those guys wrestled in the Big 12. You know, I think the thing that was exciting for both of us, you know, is that we're part of Oklahoma State, and Coleman is going to be on our staff this year and take a position on our staff. You know, it's an important part of our history. You know, it's Coleman was the 16th medal in our program. We have 13 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze. And just being a part of that, you know, I know it's very special for me, you know, to be a part of that group, and now for him, it's definitely an important part, and I'm sure it helped him, you know, high level of motivation there as you walk in the front there and you see those Olympians that have medaled. Now we got to tear that down and put a new face up there, you know. So it's gone way back, guys. You know, back to 1924, and you know, it's definitely something that I think helps us all reach a little deeper, dig a little deeper, put harder workouts in to continue that legacy and be a part of that tradition. The Big 12 did show its face. You know, all 3 medalists came from the Big 12, Iowa State, Nebraska, and of course Oklahoma State. Those athletes wrestled at the time in the Big 12. So, yeah, you know, we got something to battle with a little bit in recruiting during a little bit of a struggling time.
Speaking of that sign, you mentioned before you went that you told the coach that you're going to make him change that sign.
Yeah.
How does it feel now to be able to say, hey, you got to pay no money now to
Yeah.
take care of that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been joking all year. I said, hey, you're going to have to change that sign. And he said, trust me, that'd be my pleasure to change that thing. And, you know, I that's one of the first things I told him, you know, when we walked off the mat, you know, got in the back. I said, well, now we do have to change that sign for real. And, you know, he said, that's the plan. And I'm glad that I didn't eat my words on it, I should say. You know.
Cole, you talked about it a little bit earlier where coach says something, you do it, and it works every time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about just the relationship that you have with him and how you view him as a mentor?
I mean, you know, I came here as an 18-year-old kid, you know, all the way from Pennsylvania. You know, and I know when I made the decision, it was the right one, just the way I felt around him. You know, I trusted him. I knew I'd be in good hands. My parents knew I'd be in good hands. It was a big, you know, deal of it. And you know, it's just nothing's ever failed. I've just always, anything I need, I go to him. I talk to him. I ask for advice. I ask for that. You know, it's just everything is. He has so many answers, and you know, it's more than just in the wrestling room and on the mat for me. You know, we go to church every Sunday. You know, see him there at Mass every Sunday, him and his family, and you know, it's just little things like that I look up, and you know, when I was coming through that I looked up to. You know, to have that, you know, just that strong leadership, and you know, morally he does everything right, and if you know, and that's the way I want to be. You know, I want to, if I say it, you know, I want to be trustworthy, want to be, you know, stuff like that, and he has all those characteristics, so it's real easy just to follow, you know, when I'm around here.
Well, I will say that, you know, with an athlete, I think in any of our sports at the Olympic level, especially in wrestling, there's really a team behind these guys, you know. And, you know, Kenny Mundy put a lot of time into Coleman, and that's one of the reasons why when I had an opportunity to bring Kenny back a year ago, I was thinking of Coleman, and he did his job with him, and he put a lot of time into Coleman. Zach Esposito, and of course Eric Guerrero, who trained with him. I mean, this is a guy that finished in 2004, and he's 37 years old, and he's on the mat every single day with him. Okay, I can only coach now. You know, I did go once with him over in London, and I felt it, but for about 6 days. And when I went with him, I knew he was going to win a medal. He was that strong. But there's really a team. You know, Eric Guerrero, those guys like that, they're on the mat every day and testing them. You know, you can't just get that from a college athlete now. You know, he runs through guys like Jordan Oliver or John Morrison. It's not even a workout. That's where he's at now. You know, so the team did its job, you know, and a lot of times I'm the one to get the credit, but boy, I tell you right now, guys like Guerrero and Esposito put a lot of time in when he wasn't winning. The 3 years prior to this Olympic, you know, this is a process. It's not something you just pop up and you decide to do. This is something that when you decide to do it, it's normally a 4 to 8 year journey to maybe get a medal, you know. As Coleman said, that this is his first shot at trying to win a world or Olympic medal, but that's because he made the team. The last 3 years he didn't make the team, and you got to keep training. The people behind you got to keep working with you, and those are guys like Eric Guerrero and Zach Esposito who were there for him. So I think that's real similar in all sports. It's definitely a journey, and we've been behind in wrestling in the world. And we definitely closed the gap in the last 2 years.
You just mentioned the team behind Coleman, and you also mentioned Jordan Oliver. Just describe his role in this whole process and what he stands to gain from what he's
Well, Jordan had an opportunity. Coleman chose him as his training partner. Once the athlete makes the team, he gets to choose a training partner who's going to spend the next 30 to 45 days with him. And for this, it was 45 days. It started back in June when we went to camp, and Jordan has been a part of that process the whole time. He went over to London, to Belarus. He spent the whole time with us. He's there for Coleman when we decided to set the workouts that day. He reports. He also helped with Jared Frayer in live action. So hopefully it's an experience that he'll feel. He got to see it. He watched guys that he wrestled in the Junior World Championships win medals. You know, and you know, it's just a little bit of an advantage for him to build that passion that it takes to make one of those teams or to medal. So it's a good experience for him. He went through the whole experience, and hopefully down the road it'll make a difference for him.
You mentioned your daughter. Has she taken a liking to the medal yet?
You know, she's a year old. She doesn't know what to think. You know,
She's eating it.
Oh yeah, she wants to throw it around, you know, twirl it around, smash it on the ground, you know. But she, you know, she hadn't sunk in or anything what we just did, you know. So I'm gonna wait a couple years to sort of show her again and tell her, you know, sort of everything that we went through for the last 4 years, and
show her a gold medal in a few years.
Yeah, and then in Rio she'll be with us, you know, at 5. She'll be able to understand it a little bit more, and so plan on taking her there and showing her the whole experience.
Any other questions for Coleman or Coach?
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.